To the Jupiter podcast. I am your host, Tom Franklin, and today the return of Mr. Gin Zubrickas and his incredible story. Hopefully this time we'll be able to get through without any problems. If you keep finding yourself coming back to the Jupiter podcast, please do me a favor, like and subscribe to the channel. You can also find me on Rumble. You can find me on Spotify. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. If you'd like to have yourself some shirts, some hats, some posters, maybe a coffee mug, you can go ahead and find that in my merch, and that would be linked down below in the description. So that's everything out of the way. Please welcome back to the Jupiter podcast, my now friend, Mr. Gin Zubrickas.
Thank you, brother. Friend. We're friends. Hi, how are you?
Dude. Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude. Well, this is a redo. We're going to let people know we had to redo this one because we had issues. That hopefully this one works out. And we'll hope for the best, man. Yeah, you know how it is. So
yeah, I do. We're all going through it.
We're all going through it, man. It's been one of those days for me, and you had a little bit of a rough weekend, but we're here now, buddy. We're here now.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
the last we left off, you were able to overcome your fears, and you got on top of the mountain, and then you let out a primal scream. You heard a scream as you started.
Yeah.
And then we had some issues. So maybe if you would be so kind, if you could pick up from there.
Okay, so I was up on that mountain that day. It was a hot day. I was coming down actually, and I screamed for joy because the Sasquatch, I didn't know it back then, at that moment, but they had led me up there, and all of a sudden I was at the top of the ridge, and there I let out a scream. Yeah, it was like a joy. I made it. Yes, right. And I had a cheer, a scream of joy and happiness, and I was exhausted and started to make my way down on my ramp because it was a really steep grade up there. It levels out to a 45 coming down, but near the crest of that ridge is very steep, and you're basically I was following deer tracks, like there's no path or anything. You're just climbing up the mountain proper, right? So you're grabbing onto branches. So I was coming down, and I was actually on my butt, coming down, sliding down, and I was hot. I was tired, and I thought, well, now I got to go home. I let out that scream. About a few minutes later, as I turned around, started bumming down the mountain, and I heard this scream. It was a roar come from about maybe 100 meters off of the ridge, and it was a scream like I like to describe it. I'm not very good at it, but it was a roar, and then it went into something I ascribed to a sound of a baby elephant, right, screaming, right. I went from this roar, so right, like from the distance, and then to this right elephant type scream, and I thought, I stopped. I was on my ramp. I was hot and tired. I thought, oh my God, like what the hell is that? And I was processing, how you process, try and rationalize what it was, but it's not bear, it's not this, quickly. And I said, it's something else, right? So what the hell is that? I don't know. And I started thinking about elephants in the sun in the northern BC mountains. And I thought, there's no such thing, right? I thought, that's crazy. There's no baby elephants up on the ridge here with me. What the hell was that? And I'm thinking, was it a cougar? Because there's lots of cougar, but it didn't sound like that either. It was something different. And it freaked me right out. So I panicked, of course. I panicked, right? And I started sliding down really fast. And then I got up and started kind of jumping down, really fast. And the dirt's falling, right? So I'm going down this steep grade. And I stopped. I was in a panic, and I was really overtired from getting up there. And I was going down, and all of a sudden, I gave up. What basically happened was that from that moment on, I surrendered. I just thought of surrender and stop because I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to break my ankle. Nobody will get me up here, and I'll be dead. So might as well stop anything that
will unlife yourself. Unlife yourself. You can't say that one. You can't say that on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Did I say so? Okay. But anyways, I surrendered.
No worries.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't say the K word.
Oh, I did. Oh, I did. Sorry. Okay. Can I continue? Sorry. Yes, okay. You can edit this, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So, anyways, sorry.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, anyways, I forgot. But anyways, okay. I'm at that point where I gave up. Okay, and all I could do, I surrendered to what was happening. I thought something's gonna eat me. I can't do a stitch about it, right? So I thought there's no use in panicking and break my ankle. So I'm gonna take my time. And within an hour, it gets easier to get down. I was safely home, and I had a great dinner, and I rested, and I thought I something changed because of that, and I was just wondering about that scream. Okay, now and and after that, I started researching online Sasquatch. I got into the Facebook pages and research and heavily researched. Just a lot like everybody else does that gets into the subject or is hooked. Right. I didn't think it was a Sasquatch that screamed at that time. I see it now as it was, and I was being taught already back then, and I didn't know it until these days that I was being taught right away. Okay, about things. Okay,
Okay.
about paranormal, what can work. Okay, so through the next few years, I was semi retired, and I had the time, and the mountains were available. I had a vehicle, so I put into. I had a GoPro camera at the time, and invested a little bits of money. My son helped me out, like everybody kind of supported me, although he thought it was not. I was nuts, but he liked the fact that I was happy and climbing the mountains and had joy in my heart. So for 4 years, basically, I did that. Okay, but I found other groups. I found three more groups up high, and I went to different areas. But I had my home group was right outside my door, so we backed up where I was living, backed up to the mountain. So things. Two major events happened. One was like these were things that I found as supernatural, but I thought it was my mind and that I had created them, and that the Sasquatch didn't do this. It was just something that happened, that the events that happened that I couldn't understand, right, or couldn't make sense out of, but they were lessons. Okay, one was I was halfway up the mountain, and I take my regular. I have a regular trail, and as usual, before when I made my own trail, my own path going up, so I went there. Usually every day I had the same route, and I go up to gift them up at their log, which was halfway up this mountain. Okay, so about 1,000 feet. I climbed, get my workout. Now to me, you know what, my man, this was all about being healthy to me. It was about purging. It was about praying. It was about praying for the day because I was sober every day. I had some issues with alcoholism, in my life, and I decided to not do this anymore. Right. And I changed. Okay. So I was cleaning out in essence, but I cleaned out for a very long term. Okay. Right. And I knew that it was disrespectful to the Sasquatch or being on the land. You can't do any climbing, drunk, sober, stoned, or any which way, because it just does not work and it's disrespectful, and you're going to hurt yourself, right? So pay attention. You're highly
Right.
aware. So I was learning how to listen for animals, listen for bears, go downwind. I was still researching Sasquatch because I found structures. And I was only interested in their structures because I thought it was beautiful. I thought they were beautiful. Like the things that they were creating out there were beautiful. So I found more groups. Then I found an intercity group, which astounded me with all the structures, and that's another story. All these can be found on my YouTube channel, like my visits. There's a couple of hundred videos. I did this for 4 years, okay, let's go to the second year I was doing this, and I was having fun. So I was recording all this, making a YouTube, movies, and then I go and paint this out, right? I go and paint. I'm an artist, and I go and trying to express the energy that I was feeling at the time. So my metaphysical art was I was trying to create that energy, like what I feel about energy up there, because you go through a lot of emotions, right, when you climb. I also put down tobacco in respect to the land. Okay, every time I was taught this by my family who are
Right.
indigenous. Like through the years, I was conditioned to do this. So there's this part, that's what you do, right? When you're on the land, say
Okay.
you ask for entry, safe entry, and for safe passage through their area, and put down tobacco. Okay, so I did, And I also started picking sage. So I went to this one spot where traditionally the native people here go to pick sage. Okay. And I found that it took me 2 years to find this spot. Like I've owned my own looking for sage because I just love the aromatic and that it deterred negative energy, right? It was a negative energy blocker, and it smelled good and I
Right.
love the smell. So and to pray with and to smudge, right? Daily, like as practice for having a good day. In one day you can do this, right? You could, have a great day, right? So the climb, I had a routine of doing this. So I went and did this every day. I also picked sage. When I found the place, I went there to pick sage. And I found another spot where these grand, like these older sage live. They're just in certain places. They're special, right? One and they have different aromas, right? Because one's by the lake, it gets all the lake influence of the water in it. It smells better. Yeah, so that's where the native people go. So I picked that, and I get a bunch of it, right? And I process it every day at home. So I'd be climbing, do this, bring home some sage. Strip the stems, right? Strip the stems, and that's a story for what happened there. Was really incredible. So it was basically climbing, exercise, right? On the way up, dock the car down the mountain on a logging road somewhere, right? Random place, right? Up high, fairly high, up at the cloud line, right? And get out and go, right? And lock the car and climb. And I set it up
Fantastic.
for a climb up the logging. So it's a workout. I do the sweat. I go do the climb. However, when I got tired, I turned around, right? Just like Forrest Gump, right? It's like turned around, come back down, and I took. And I thought, this is a beauty workout. Like, I love doing this. I'm by myself. I'm hot in the sun. I'm up at the cloud line. I'm just looking in awe at the spectacular scenery, and everything is in awe. It's just observing and looking at with a big smile on. Sometimes I start dancing, And I also did this one thing. I carried rocks, okay, which I found out that they really like this sort of thing. They found it funny. Now as a workout. So I carry a heavy stone. I pick up a stone and say, come on, I'm going to take you for a walk. Hope you don't mind, and apologize to the stone. Remember, I'm talking to everything I learned. I talk to, the creatures and the stones, right? Say, I'm going to take you for a walk. I hope you don't mind. We're going up the mountain. I'm going to place you somewhere else, right? Okay. So I worked out with a stone, right? Like, it's an awesome workout, right? And you're carrying this thing, and you're huffing, and you're doing curls, and you're climbing the mountain. You're just getting this awesome, sweaty, tremendous workout, right? So I'm going up. I'm doing this, so I did that all the time. So I carry these stones up, right? And that now they started leaving stone placements on the logging roads, okay, for me ahead of time. They leave patterns, symbols, and large stones, usually crosses, like Christian style, Celtic, Celtic style with stone, big crosses
Yes.
on the road. Okay, now I thought, okay, what's the Christian crosses, and who's doing this? And it couldn't be like people that hunt, they just don't do this kind of thing. They go in to hunt, they hunt, right? I know the people, I know who's up there. There's nobody up there, right? It's just old logging roads, right? There's tons of them. And I started seeing these, and then more structures, and I found groups that way. Okay, so the phenomenon beforehand, quickly, what happened to me? Two supernatural events. One was a marble that I had put in. I bought from the dollar up store when my spouse bought me a marble for the Sasquatch. Right? I said, here, give this to the Sasquatch. So I did. Right, so I brought it up the mountain, and it's this really large forest green marble, a glass marble, the big ones, right? And I stuck it into the fallen down tree that I use for gifting. Okay, so I put the food down, snacks. I stuffed this thing into a crevice, so that other animals like bird, anything couldn't get at it. You had to have dexterity and get it out of there. So that it was coming on to winter. All that winter, that marble, like, I left it there and came and visited it and gifted, saying that the marble's still there. Marble's still there. Marble's still there. I guess they're not going to take it. And one day it came up there 2 months or a month later. It was gone. Right? I thought, ooh, right? Ooh, like, I don't see any cracks. It's snow. It's gone. So it left for a month, and I still did my routes and still visited, and then a month later it returned. Okay, it returned to that log. Okay, the damn thing. I thought, oh my God, right? So I picked it up and I thought, well, I'll put it down again. So I was uncomfortable with everything. I was going through like a growing spurts with. I mentioned fear, and I was going into areas that I shouldn't be there. Right? Like I should not be here. These are dicey areas. I'm in the middle of nowhere, but I knew that I was becoming more placid and listening and attentive and aware, right? And using my smells and my senses, because I was really feeling good. By the end of the summers, I could jump up those mountains like it was, or jump down. I was fit as a fiddle. Like really extremely fit. And I'm an old person, but I found joy in it, and I just loved it, and I was just beaming and having fun. So any kind of storm that came, I just duck under. If a rainstorm, a thunderstorm, I got caught in a few, and I go under a tree and just laugh my head off, right? And then make movies, right? Here I am, right? Like in this
Yeah.
storm, but I know that there's hope and there's sun's going to come out. It's just a fast storm. I'm going to be fine. So I always felt really protected, and I prayed all the
It's a
time.
good
I
feeling.
prayed with the sage, and it was a good
It's a
feeling,
good,
right? And also, it
yeah.
was also escaping the city, like the trap, right? And I got so far up that I couldn't have any noise around me because I wanted just quiet, right? It's like be still, right? Or quietness. So anyways, this happened with the marble. It happened 3 times that whole winter. I put it down, it was gone. I put it down or stuck it in there, it would disappear for a month or 2 months. This went on for 7 months until it came back the third time. Okay, it disappeared. The third time, I said, okay, I'm going to take it home. I guess it's been used enough, right? And it's probably special by now. I'm not going to keep it now, right? I think it's mine now, right? And I noticed that I took. You can find this stuff on my YouTube. I'm holding the marble, and I tell the story that the thing was, the marble came back different. It come like it's like a heat source. It had torch marks in it. It's like tremendous heat, and it was being gripped by. I now know that it was a Sasquatch holding it under pressure. Like they can do anything they want. Now I see that it was being held by them and infused with tremendous heat, right? And it literally crushed in, right? So it had fissures in it. It was all
Okay.
smooth, like it had been baked, right? So I kept this, and I took pictures of it, and documented this and all that. So that was the happening, and things that I couldn't explain. I had yet to experience a Sasquatch. I was afraid to see them, frankly, and I heard them. I've heard monkey chatter. I have a video of me hearing it. It was in the winter too. I heard a woman admonishing us. A woman going right in the middle of broad daylight, and it sounded like a reprimand to a child, like scolding,
Okay.
like that monkey chatter, the Japanese chatter. In the middle of the day, and I went up, and you'll see that's on one of my videos. Actually, for some reason, it became really popular. I think it was just because the monkey chatter. But I heard it in broad daylight, and I went to go look, and there's nothing there. Right, so all this invisible stuff was going on. There were burps. There were loud belches, like burps, that were right next to my ear. Sometimes that I had out there. I had experiences with the little children when I'm walking up this ravine, like I try to take new trails or ravines that were really dicey, and I'm in this really steep ravine and climbing up, and I heard on my right, and I got spooked, like, because you're up there, way up there, and all of a sudden I hear this giggle from a girl, like a little girl, right up,
Wow.
up on the ridge to my right, and then I hear a response at the other ridge, like, and in this ravine, and when I hear this girl giggling, right, and then the response from a boy going, man, whistling, going, woo, like, and a whistle, like on the opposite ridge line,
Wow.
and I just listened to it, go, what the hell? What is that? What is that? And so I stopped and I turned around, right? I think that's all about fear, everything's a test. But it didn't bother me, but these things were happening. Like they were happening, but still I wasn't, into like, is this Sasquatch real? I still questioned it. I still was skeptical a little bit, right? Although I'm seeing all this stuff and I'm following tracks. I'm getting more tracks. I'm getting daily tracks, and people that I posted this stuff to said, how do you get tracks every day? I said, I look. Like I'm looking for them, so I'm just looking for toad tracks that are large, right? It's simple, but you got to be looking. If you're not out there, you're not looking, right? And if you're not out every day, and I'm out every day, so I became pretty good tracker. And then at times I'd be tracking them. I know that it's usually an adolescent and a mom, or a mom and baby. I found little tiny tracks way up near the ridgeline at places out in the middle of nowhere that were baby tracks of 5 toes and not 5 to 6 inches long with the mother track. Okay. I'd
Wow.
find them, and they're there out in the middle of nowhere in a random bush spot, and I'd find tracks. I'd also find huge tracks where they jump down out of trees, or something large, and their toes. So I was recording this stuff, right? And people were wondering, how do you get, nobody gets tracks every day. Nobody, I said, well, I go really far, and I'm looking, right? It's a long trip, right? So I got one, I think, daily. I don't think there was a day that I didn't get something, right? Like some kind of clue, but I still didn't know. Well, okay. Then the other incident, we try to make this quick. The other incident was I was near the gifting log, up on my usual trek. Oh, and by the way, they announced with a thud they'd hit wood, okay, way up on the ridge. When they saw me at a certain time before climbing up on the trail, they did a wood knock, okay, but they thumped it. They did it on a log on the ground, like boom, okay, way up from the ridge. They'd announce, and
Okay.
I'd say, okay, I'm here, guys, right? I thought it was them, and they do it pretty usually. They would do that, right? And then they leave gifts for me, which on this trail that was my own trail. They'd give me, at that time it was white bones and pine boughs. Okay, so they give me a pine bough, right, from the trees, and a white bone. These were my gifts. And then they started getting like larger, like the spine bones from deers and stuff like that, all bleached white, right? They had this white, right? And and they leave me this big spine bone and then a pine bough. It's like gifts, right? Take the gift, right? And I remember grabbing the spine, right? I said, "Oh, Jesus, that's rather big, and I can't, I don't really want to take these things home, right?" So I said, "Thank you, I really appreciate the bones, the white bones, but this is like a bit much, right? The spine thing, and it's getting icky." So they stopped, right? Anything I asked them to this day, I asked them for something last week, and they delivered. So I can ask them; they will help heal you. And this is a
Wow.
fact. I recorded it. Yeah, they gave me medicines last week, for fact, and I researched them, and I know what they are now and why they put them there, right? And it's in a bundle, and they left me quite a bit of it. Okay, just near here. But getting out to that, I didn't know any of this back then. I really didn't. But I was being taught. You see, now I know what I was being taught. Okay. And which goes even to the
Right.
how to find a tree porthole. All this was being taught. I'm just looking at, what are these trees doing here in this position on the ground, and why is that look so weird? Because there's a big square, and this is attachment to other trees. I found out that these are homage. They always constantly pay homage to the grandfather trees by adorning them, and you'll see this everywhere. Like, there's one spot up here particularly where I call it like a homage site, where the trees are cut by forestry, and they will adorn them either by sticks or rocks or pine boughs or whatever. They will adorn them, right, as homage,
Okay.
as prayer, like sacred. They're the grandfather trees that were cut. Those are their family, right? So they do the same thing. They reciprocate by prayer, right? Same thing. They're always adorning, and all of these structures. That's what they are. Is a physical art. Art mean a few things, but mostly they're their way of expressing themselves. That particular group or family does it with the material they have. Okay, and it is an art form. It is also like a place to go. Right? And it also cleans up the debris off the forest, and it also prevents fires. So all kinds of reasons for that, right? Okay, now that's what I see. That's
Okay.
all what I'm doing. It cleans up the forest debris, and that therefore making it less prone to fire. It's all, they clean it out from the dry brush, right? Yeah.
Right.
So like, to me that makes sense, right? Like, but anyways, the next. Oh, I was climbing, going up the mountain one day. I was up there, and what I think I experienced is time loss. Okay, I was climbing up, and all of a sudden I was at the turnaround, which is the point that I went to where the road stops at near the 3/4 up the mountain, and
So
then there's just climbing.
could you
Okay.
Could you say what? Could you remind me of what happened before that, though? You had a book bag, didn't
Before
you?
that, yeah, but
You had
oh
a
no,
you had,
oh yes, oh the things that were taken from me. That's this one. Okay,
yes,
that's
sir.
this.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
okay, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll take you there.
No worries.
Okay, and
Sure.
this is the story. Okay, okay, so all of a sudden my stuff was out of my knapsack. Like, so I had all this technical. I had my key fob, which is an electronic key fob to get inside the door of the units I was living in. I had a recording cord. I had my phone. I had all this things. I had a lanyard with my keys, which were also electronic. Okay, so all of this, my cigarettes were gone, my lighter was gone, everything left, and I would have heard them drop. I know I could, because you can hear anything
Right.
tinkle in the forest. Like, it's very quiet. So I'm climbing up there, and all of a sudden I'm at this turnaround. Right? I thought, what am I doing up here so fast? Well, how did I get up here so fast? So, but I was at the turnaround, and my backpack was unzipped and empty. Okay, empty, void of all this stuff. So my cell phone's gone, everything's gone. Right, all my door key, I couldn't get in. Right, so I lost that, and I retraced. So that was gone. I thought, okay, my cell phone's gone, but what happened to it? I thought they took it. Right, that's what I thought. So that week I looked diligently. I remember exactly where I started my trek. I went to the same spot, looked to scan the area. Nothing. I went back 3 or 4 times. I think on the 4th time, it was Sunday. It was a week later. It was raining, and I found I found an object out of my backpack, and it was placed there just outside the trail. And I think, one of my lighter, right? And then I thought, that's my lighter, right? And a yard further, I look up, and there's another piece. And my lanyard, my cord from my lanyard that held my door key, was on a tree stump and broken, snapped into different segments, but all there and placed on the cut log. Okay, the stump. Okay, another yard, and I'm following this trail of my stuff, and there it is. I look up, and of course, and I thought, the next time I look up, I bet I'm gonna find another piece of, and you know what? Yeah, everything was in my sack. In my backpack was spread out onto a trail so that I would follow, pick up a piece. But the thing is, the lanyards were snapped, and they were snapped. They weren't cut with scissors. They were snapped, like some great force just snapped them to shreds, right? But they were all there, all intact and all working. And, and then I go further, I look up, and there's my cell phone. Okay, my cell phone's facing up. Right, I pick it up. It's raining. It's there. It's right under this lodgepole pine, facing up. I look up to the up the tree, and there's a deer bones. Okay, hanging about 10 feet up. There was a deer leg. Okay, all
Wow.
bones hanging in a V,
Right.
pinned up on a branch. Okay, and I thought, oh, I shuddered. Right, and I thought, this is my people. This is a Sasquatch telling me it's okay. Like, I thought the phone was working, so I called my spouse. I said, hey, it's me, found the phone, right? We were all concerned about it, right? What happened to this thing, right? Not, just what happened. There it was. So he came back. It's like a miracle. It's a miracle that happens. But you can't believe it, and you're still questioning. I brought it back home. The phone's working. I thought it was Sasquatch, right away. But then you start thinking, and other people would think, you're nuts, right? No, it's not you. It's just, like my son was just like,
again, if you had
sure.
to guess, how much time do you think was missing?
I'd say only about to get up to that point was about 20 minutes. Okay,
Still a
20 minutes of
significant amount of
climbing.
time.
So 20
Right.
minutes of climbing to get to from the. I knew it off by heart because I'm doing this 300 days out of the year. 300 days, that's 1,000 trips, right? I know my routes. I know what's up there. I know what I hear. I hear what I hear, right? And I know who's up there, and there's nobody really up there, right? But me, right? So yeah, about 20 minutes of lost time, and all of a sudden I was at the turnaround. Thought, how did I get here that fast? Like, I was zoned out, right? I went somewhere, and then the knapsack was open. Okay, so 7 days later, and right there, I thought, it's you, Sasquatch. I was at the tree, and of course the deer leg hanging up there really pointed it out that it was them. It kind of made me shudder, right? When I saw that, it's like, oh, right? What are you saying? It's you. I know it's you. yeah, oh, pay attention here, they're saying, or something. So I thought that, and I asked them right there that if it was okay. They left that camera and they left it for a reason. I said, so it is okay to take pictures, but not of you. And I asked them right there, I said, could you please not reveal yourself? I don't really want to see you. I'm more interested in your artworks, your creations and your wood creation. That's what I'm interested in. I find that really cool, right? So I felt a response. I said, I felt that it's okay, right? Because it just felt good. I felt really good, right? And it's okay, okay. So whether it be my speak, that's another thing that happened. Until okay, so we'll close it off right now. Now I know you're a bit tired, and I'm a bit, but I'm gonna round this off to this segment. So I still didn't have a clue that these things were happening. There were also like other events. Like I could make a long list of phenomena that happened associated with the Sasquatch that were real. They
Weren't you
said
telling
there
me?
were.
Weren't you
Pardon me?
telling me again about a time? You were telling me on the previous one that we tried to record. There was a moment in which you were in the forest and you started getting rocks thrown at you, and then you realized
Oh
something.
yeah, that's what I'm leading up to. Okay, so
Oh,
this
okay,
was
I'm sorry.
the game changer. Yeah, yeah, the pebble. So I'm not encountering them. I know that they're there. I could hear them. I could hear them burp. I could hear them clear their throats, like that, right? Like right next to me, right? And nobody's there. They're invisible. So I'm hearing things. I think I'm going mad, right? I do. I think I'm. Could I be losing it, right, mentally? Because is it my fatigue? Is it hot? Okay. So one day I'm up. It was September. Uh, it was Labor Day weekend, 10 o'clock. Beautiful, beautiful morning. I had just found a huge tract out on a logging road up in the high country. We'll call it with the North Group because I was out there. This is a real wild place, like a random logging road. I found a spot and I just parked the car and I go for my run, right? And then I'd stop and go into the woods. Or if I see something off the logging road, thought I saw something. It was 10 o'clock that morning. I had just filmed a track down the road from there, a big right foot, okay, in the mud, right, and they were with the deer track. So I went, that was the same side of the road, up about a kilometer, about a mile up. I was walking up there by myself. It's a beautiful morning. It's Labor Day morning, and I heard I saw something to my left in the woods, and I thought it was a small structure. So I go, "Ooh, structure, cool!" Right? I'm going in. I'm going in there. Go check it out with my camera, and of course I've got the camera, and I know it had a lot of charge. It was okay, but something happened. Well, there was no structure, so I'm out into the random bush. Right? The road is about I don't know 50 yards out, right? But I'm in there in this thicket and I'm looking down and, with my mouth open, looking at stuff on the ground, right? And then I hear this pebble drop. Like I thought it was something, an acorn from a tree or, a seed or something, but it hit like a hard thing. I looked up and there's
Right.
no trees. It's like small bush, but it's fairly thick. You can see about 30 yards through the trees. I looking around and I got to laugh because I see them looking at me having a laugh, right? So this another one comes at me. These are pebbles, okay? I'm wondering what the hell are the pebbles doing out here? It's all bush, like little leaves and pine needles and stuff, right? There's no pebbles around here, right? That's from the road,
Right.
right? But they're coming at me from the bush. So another one lands. And a second one lands and it pops out in front of me. And I'm looking at it. It lands a yard right before me, right? And it pops out of the I pick it up and it's, what the hell? I said, oh, I know who it is. It's a Sasquatch, right? I started thinking that way. And the third one comes in and it lands the exact spot almost and it pops off the ground, right? So third one lands and I thought, okay, I know it's real, right? This is a Sasquatch throwing pebbles at me, right? It's got to be
Right.
right, and
Right.
it was, of course, So the third one comes, a fourth one comes in. And I'm thinking. They started playing with my mind because I can't see what's throwing them, and the trajectory is like, you're just tossing these as if you're 10 yards in front of a person, right? Tossing. I'm looking ahead of me. I can see where they're coming from, but there's no one there. Okay, these are coming out of thin
Oh,
air at me, yeah, at me, and I'm looking through the trees, and I can't see. I can see through 30, 40 yards out, right in between, right? There's nothing there. There's no one. Is there coming out of thin air? Because like they're popping up. So I start covering my forehead and my eyes. I said, I know who you are, and hi, my name's Gin. I mean you no harm. You know this, that I'm friendly person, right? And I've come to say hi, right? And I started covering my head. I said, please don't hit me in the eye or the forehead. That might hurt, and you'll pop my eye out, right? Right? And you said you'll damage my eye, right? So I started covering my head, talking to the thing, and I noticed the Sasquatch invisible, like throwing these things at me. And I started crouching to the ground. I got all the way down to ground level, and I'm holding my head. And I'm talking to this thing, right? That's story. And they were coming in. So every 15 seconds or so, this pebble like lands and pop. And I'm watching them come in. And I'm lying on the ground. I'm picking them up, right? Right? I pick up the pebble, right? I'm looking at it, right? And they're coming in. But I started thinking, and I thought, about I was alone there, right? And this is happening. This is really happening. I'm processing the magic of the natural thing that's happening to me that
Oh, the
is
moment.
impossible. Yeah, in the moment, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, man, what is happening? This is real. They are real. They're real. This is happening now. Like there's stuff
Wow.
coming at me, and I'm by myself. Man, I could, you start thinking, good or bad, right? Fight or flight, right? If you're processing, but I was trying to be brave, and that's that fear thing. But I don't think I was ready yet to do that, and I wasn't ready, obviously, because a one hit me. They were coming in, and it gets to about, I think, 6 or 7, and one pops off. There's a sapling right beside my head where it was lying down, and then it hits the sapling, and it pings off and nearly glances by me, right, my head. And I got up and I bolted towards the logging road. I was gone, like in a flash, right? And I thought, I'm not done yet, right? Like I knew what was happening. I just couldn't believe what was happening. And that moment, Sasquatch became from, unreality in my head to a real
Right.
phenomenon, a reality, right? I
So
thought,
like
oh my God, it's
so the
real. It's
the,
real. Yeah.
the physical manifestation, because you were having all these
Yeah.
events happen that led up to this
Yeah.
physical manifestation, and you're like, okay, you were doubting a little bit. This is really weird. I lost time. I don't remember. I don't know what's going on. Oh, I got it all back.
Exactly.
I gave them the marble. They're giving me this, and they
Yeah.
point the cell phone up at the tree. Look up that way,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
now the rocks are being thrown at you, and you're like, oh wait, this is real. And like
Yeah.
it probably,
Yeah.
so it all crashing in at one time.
Yeah, and the thing is, it wasn't offensive or aggressive or anything. It was the way I was viewing it, right?
Right.
Right? There's nothing. There are bubbles coming in, but when the one glance, it got too close. But you don't know that when you're there by yourself out in the high bush country, high up in the mountains, right? You don't know. It's like a miracle, like it's spirit, right? And it's invisible, and you know that it's coming out of thin air. I'm looking for it, and it's not there. So this thing is, it's magically throwing these pebbles at you. So but they're real because I grabbed them and I took them home, right, right.
Okay.
I grabbed, to take home, right. These were the ones. These are the size, and they're little pebbles, right, that you find on the gravel roads. Gravel, you know what? So I got to the road and I thought, oh great, now, but at least it's there, right there, and I'm going to listen for it, and I'll be a little bit safer on the road. Because my car was way out there, so I still had a ways to go. Right, I was really nervous and happy and excited and really stoked, right? Like I'm on and there's a Sasquatch there, right?
Right.
Right? And so I get on my phone, and I'm nervous and I'm fumbling around, and because guess what? It blanks out, right? I turn it on. I go to set a recording or do a video, right, of this. I'm going to make a video, right? And of course it goes zaps out, right? There's that. There you
Right.
go. It's the hydro, the
Which is
electricity, right?
yeah,
And then
which
I
is
hear,
always
oh,
which is
yeah,
always
yeah.
happening, which is also seems to be what's going on with these drones in New Jersey. People are trying to send them up
Oh,
to see
ah,
what's going on up in the air, and their drones are being zapped too, and they just come right back down. Like the power goes away. It seems to be just like us in our
yes.
first meeting.
And
You got zapped out. I'm trying to get you back on, and it just didn't work. And then we got this crazy feedback. It seems to be like all kind of connected in a way too. A lot of the similar
yeah,
characteristics of what's going on. It's pretty wild, man.
exactly, with all phenomena, and with the drones now, yeah. I know what it is. It's a bit of everything, is what it is. But it is from somewhere else. Okay, it is something else. Okay, so
Okay.
for sure. Okay,
Oh,
because this is part of what's happening in the spiritual realm. Okay,
okay.
in the celestial realm, and the part of Earth changes. It's just that they're conditioning us as people slowly but surely, and it is all about psychology because these people are very proficient at psychology, and they know
So,
everything. All other life forms. Yeah,
so what do you,
they
what do
know
you, what,
consciousness.
yeah, yeah. So
It's,
what are you trying to give me? Just go ahead and clue me in a little bit. What is your, I mean, because it's kind of, in the
I'd
moment,
say
and
I'd say the
it's
drone
kind of
that was shot
cool.
out was a real.
You came
Yeah,
back on the re-record
yeah.
with me because it wasn't working the second time we tried, and it didn't work as well
It's
as I thought it would. So what do you think it is,
it's a,
again? Like, give me a breakdown. What do you think
it's
these drones are?
it's the part of the Earth changes with the celestial planets, and the people that are really behind the scenes, and the guy and the one that they shot down. Now there's your typical laughing stocker. I'm going to say it right now, and I'm proud to say it, is the military and their choices. Nobody's doing anything about this, so therefore it is something else. It's simple, and they're coming apparently out of the water.
The ocean. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, and
this
then
is
going.
manifesting. We consciously, here we go again with the consciousness. I believe that's true, part of it, that we are making this happen because the movies are the message, right? So there's a quote, a
Oh,
famous quote: the movie is the message, the theater is the message. So this is the play that's happening in front of us, the theater, right? And we get to see
right.
it. A lot of these are imaged out. I've been shown, I know this for a fact, they were images created by a place that is either off this planet or inside this planet or on this planet. It is a huge office building, a huge warehouse full of computer stations, because I've been shown this, and the Sasquatch showed me images of this. They continuously show me large galleries of people behind computers, and that they are doing this. Another person I know that is experiencing the same things, and he is from a stateside, is getting the same thing. We get signs from up and coming events, and we've been having this for years. I've been having it for 2 years.
So,
Some are like a little bit just getting them now. Okay, for
your
2 years
opinion,
I've been
your
shown the future,
your
and
yeah, I'm sorry again.
yeah,
You're a great talker, man. You can roll, and I just let you roll, but it's cool, brother.
that's yeah. I'm jumping ahead.
So is this a good thing? No, we're not really jumping ahead.
Is it a good thing?
It's kind of
Yeah,
topical at the moment. Is it a good thing or is it a bad thing?
it's a wake up call. Wake up. Wake
Okay.
up. It's a wake up to us. Slowly, but psychology. That's why all the events you see on TikTok, these flying things, you'll see them. They look like Lego bots or pieces of, no, and they're imaging, but they actually do things. They actually affect things on this planet. I've seen them. I've seen these kind of things, entities, and I already know what they are. They're the things that carve designs up in the mountains. They were doing it all winter. Now I see them. They're all words. Okay, they're all signs that
This,
people hear.
yeah.
And for New York, it's something different. You got to notice that this is happening in New Jersey. There's a huge population. I've been shown an aerial map. I was shown aerial maps of this stuff happening about half a year ago in New York.
Oh,
They showed me. Yeah, I have these photos. These are images that the Sasquatch gave me of events coming. There's another person. There's also, they showed me a lot of water events that were going to be buried under water. A lot of it's going.
okay.
These are natural events.
Well,
They're just
okay.
showing us how they're accelerating the phenomena with these drones. Now, you can believe this or you can't, but my observation is that these are imaged, most of them, and they'll toss in a real one. Somebody else, there's various peoples in the play, either from planet or a secret Earth beings, like not the FBI, not the CIA, somebody covert that's been doing this for a long time, working with aliens to create this. One they shot out. That's your gift, man. That's to throw you off. Everything is psychology. It's how you're going to handle it. They're giving you small doses at a time, and I know this because the Sasquatch only give you so much that you can learn. They showed me all of this prior to it happening, right? And nobody, well, of course, then I can tell. I
Okay.
start talking. I got really upset
Not the
when this started happening. I got really freaked out. I asked for dates when the end of the world, because it was apocalyptic what they were showing me. They're also showing me a biblical, like Christ and the end time, all of it, pilgrimages, the whole scenes were shown imaging, and I have those images, okay?
Okay.
And I cry. I was down in tears saying, no, this can't be, because I was
So what's
extremely worried for people at the time. I said, I got to tell people, no, they'll think I'm a lunatic, right?
so what's
Warn them.
next? What's
The
next,
sky
Ken?
is
What's the next?
falling. What's
Not to put you
next?
on the
Well,
not to put
gradually,
you on the spot. Not to put you on the spot. I mean, I'm not trying to make you like a
like,
Nostradamus or something. But what do you think is
no, no,
next?
no, no. These are just events that are, once they started opening, this is in the last 2 years. So the last events right now, my friend who I think he said it was okay to name him, and I'll bring him on board. There's a few of us that are talking daily. Okay. We've found out that we were getting the same images. One woman from Australia is getting the same images from just UFOs only, but they're presented in the same fashion on their cell phones through the Sasquatch beings. Okay. Okay. Sasquatch role is a unique role, but there's no nefarious things happening. It's how we perceive it to happen. I mean, if you start
Ooh.
changing your way, right, and start living a better life and start getting it, are you awakened to something? Are you awakened to a better life? Yes, you are. And you once you're awake, it will all make sense. But we are not awake. Most of us are too busy to understand or to care. We don't care. We've got our immediate needs, our hierarchy needs is to get food on the table, to make that. We don't even look up. We don't look up at what's around us, right?
Not us,
We don't
though.
look
Not
up.
us, Ken. Not us, Ken.
Okay,
Not here
not
at the
us.
eye, baby. Not here at the
Not
eye.
us. We
Not
are
us.
few, but we've been selected, like say 144,000 light workers or chosen ones or whatever are selected, right? That was all in the play that God created, God who was our God,
Do you
right?
consider
Created
me?
this.
Ken, do
Pardon
you
me?
consider me? You consider me a light worker?
Pardon me? I think
You,
you were somebody called you a star seed. So
so
I don't know, but
I
I
just
was
got called.
told.
I just
Yeah,
got
yeah,
called
I
that
think you are
recently.
because yes, I do. Like one of them. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
buddy.
Okay.
I'm here.
I
I'm
don't
here
know.
for it. I'm here
Take
for it.
it or leave because your actions dictate that you are right. So we're
Okay.
benevolent to the idea. We're also sharing right now what needs to be shared, and this is what the Sasquatch want. Otherwise, they would take me apart and they teach me hard lessons,
And
mostly
they
about
wanted you.
myself, and how
And
I'm doing.
They wanted you to talk to me.
No, it's just that I did because you were there. Yeah. Yes, of
Oh, okay.
course. Yeah, they to share. Now we're sharing,
Oh, we're
which is
sharing it.
necessary.
I just happen to be
You
in
were
your
sharing.
purview of your
Yeah.
life, and you reached out.
So
And
yeah,
okay, that's cool. Yeah,
all this
dude,
was meant
I'm
to
all
be.
about it.
Yeah. It was meant to play out by the person that's behind that's running this theater show, right? This
Ah,
huge theater show that we're the audience, and how will we? You have to figure everything is based on emotion here, and that's what I'm learning.
ooh,
Everything is based on a certain emotion. We are an emotional race, and you know what? Some of us take it into fear, right? And fear
right.
is thought. You don't fear. We were taught that. So about fear is like letting go of that. Like there's
Oh,
nothing to be
wow.
afraid of, really. These are all like dreams, bad dreams, and that's a reality. And now you'll see it, everything that plays out. You know the movie Signs? I always knew that had some merit. And the director, Shambhala, he's brilliant, right? Like what he made there, Signs, right? The movie with Mel Gibson. And you know what? I refer to that every time. Every time I was at a structure and underneath it, I thought about that movie Signs, and I thought about how these things are not. How can they be made that quick? They're made by force, by imagination. They instantly appear. And then I saw that through the Sasquatch that they make magic reality. They know the past, the present, and the future. Okay, and that's what I've learned. They know all
Okay, buddy.
things, right?
All right,
They
buddy.
know. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
so
dude.
there you go. They know.
That was awesome, dude. Thank you. I just wanted to because
Uh,
I love getting
sorry.
different people's takes on it because I'm talking
Uh,
to a super soldier right now. I'm talking to
what?
a super soldier who was part
What
of
is
like
that?
you just watch
You
my
know
last
what?
episode.
But
Watch my last
I quite.
episode. It
Yeah.
came out
Oh,
on
okay. I'm gonna
Friday.
watch that. Okay. Okay.
Okay, and
Right.
I'm
We
talking
all
to
have.
him.
Okay. Yes, I have to end with this for now. We are all
Sure.
connected. We all have a little job to do, no matter how much. But that job is so important to the universe that we don't consider it as humans. Okay, but it is important. All right.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Each and one of us belong. We're all
Thank
connected.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ken, for coming on and squeezing us in. I know you're a very busy guy today. Once again, a
No,
belated happy
you are.
birthday.
No, you
Oh,
are.
yeah, it
Thank
was a
you.
long day.
Yeah. You
Once
just
again,
have a great day.
you too,
Great,
buddy.
great,
Happy
great
belated
night. Yeah.
birthday. Once again,
Yeah.
buddy, happy belated
Yeah.
birthday to you, okay?
Thank you. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard sometimes to take this all in and live
Oh,
with it too.
we'll be
It's like
fine. Do
it's
everything.
hard.
You can't do big things with big love. Do little things with big love. And if we all did that, we'll be better off.
Exactly. There it is. Love,
There it is.
love, baby. That's what
All right,
they
man.
create. Love,
Thank you
peace.
so much, Ken. I'll see you around, buddy, okay?
Have a great night.
You too, buddy.
Okay, bye.
That's my buddy again, Zubrickas, putting a positive spin on these drones. I think you guys know, but behind the fourth wall, we had to re-record this. There was some issues that we were having, and I just wanted to get his take on these drones. This episode is recorded on the Monday, and I'm releasing it on this Friday. So I love you guys. Remember, we are the eye, and we are aware.